Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for standing by and welcome to Tuya Inc.'s third quarter 2024 earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are in the listen-only mode. After the speaker's presentation, there will be a question-and-answer session. To ask a question during the session, you will need to press star 11 on your telephone. You will then hear an automated message advising your hand is raised. To withdraw your question, please press star 11 again. Please be advised that today's conference is being recorded. I'll now turn the call over to your first speaker today, Mr. Reg Chai, Investor Relations Director of Tuya. Please go ahead, Reg.
Okay, thank you, Emma. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our third quarter 2024 earnings call. Joining us today are founder and CEO of Tuya, Mr. Jerry Wang, and our CFO, Ms. Alex Yang. The third quarter 2024 financial results and webcast of this conference call are available at ir.tuya.com. A replay of this call will also be available on our website in a few hours. Before we continue, I refer you to our safe harbor statement in our earnings press release, which applies to this call as we will make forward-looking statements. With that, I will now turn the call to our founder and CEO, Mr. Jerry Wang. Jerry will deliver his remarks in Chinese, which will be followed by corresponding English translation. Now, Jerry, please.
大家好，感谢大家参加图亚2024年第三季度的业绩电话会议。
Hello everyone, thank you for joining Tuya's third quarter 2024 earnings call.
2024年第三季度是一个务实的季度，我们在收入端继续发力，取得了约34%的同比收入增长，在经营侧继续保持高效。取得约9%的 non-GAAP 经营性利润率及25%的 non-GAAP 净利润率，达成管理目标。取得这些结果离不开业务策略的良好的执行，加之我们一贯坚持的提效举措，有力的控制了预算和费用，公司稳健延续了与二季度相似的优秀的经营杠杆表现。下面我们将对本季度的业务情况做一些展开。
In the third quarter, we achieved our performance goals by prioritizing practical strategies and focusing on execution. Revenue growth accelerated to 34% year-over-year increase. We maintained high operating efficiency, thus achieving a non-GAAP operating margin of around 9%. Our substantial interest income added to the bottom line, resulting in non-GAAP net profit margin of around 25%. These results were underpinned by the effective execution of our business strategies, coupled with ongoing efficiency initiatives that tightly controlled budgets and expenses, sustaining operating leverage as we did in last quarter. Next, I will delve into some details on our business performance in the quarter.
在第三季度，我们的3个板块业务的收入表现稳健，其中设备智能化 PaaS 业务收入同比增长超过26%。延续了复苏以来的稳健的势头。Smart Solution 板块的收入同比增长超过100%。一方面是因为需求，例如今年以来我们持续看到家电品类全球的需求旺盛，与我们的产品规划的预判相吻合。我们聚焦节能产品和方案输出带来了可观的收入。另一方面，我们与核心客户的紧密合作，帮助客户在产品规划和发布方面踩准市场的节奏。SaaS&R 板块的收入同比增长约17%，其中核心的云软件增值服务同比增速超过50%。
In the third quarter, all 3 of our business segments delivered solid revenue performance. IoT PaaS revenue increased by over 26% year-over-year, maintaining the steady recovery momentum. The Smart Solutions segment achieved over 100% year-over-year revenue growth. These were driven by strong market demand, particularly in the home appliance category, where we have consistently observed robust global demand throughout the year, aligning well with our product planning and market expectation. Our focus on energy-efficient products and solutions has significantly contributed to this revenue growth. Additionally, our close collaboration with key customers has enabled them to align their product planning and launches with market trends. Lastly, revenue from the SaaS and other segments grew by approximately 17% year-over-year, with our core cloud software value-added services increasing by over 50% year-over-year.
在消费级市场， 企业必须充分理解并抓住终端的核心需求。我们始终致力于不断推出具有市场竞争力的创新产品，理解客户的商业诉求，并建立更加紧密的客户的合作伙伴关系。在刚过去的2024年德国柏林消费电子展IFA，我们发布了许多新产品的方案，例如基于云端动态的算法、生成式 AI 等能力大幅增强的智能产品在交互效率、功能上的使用的体验和价值。我们一直深耕于行业理解行业的理念，迭代更新的一些诸如家庭及商业场景的一些解决方案和产品矩阵，涵盖了家庭节能、舒适空间、宠物生活、安全守护、运动健康、娱乐教育、便利出行等领域。
In the consumer market, it is imperative for business to go thoroughly understand and capture the core needs of end users. We dedicated to continuously launching innovative and competitive products, understanding our customers' business objectives, and building even closer partnerships. After the recently concluded 2024 IFA in Berlin, we unveiled numerous new product capabilities. By leveraging cloud-based dynamic algorithms and generative AI, we aim to significantly enhance the user experience and value of smart products in terms of interaction, efficiency, and functionality. Additionally, in line with our philosophy of cultivating and understanding the industry, we have iterated and expanded a wide range of solutions and product portfolios across various homes and commercial use cases. This encompasses home energy efficiency, comfortable living spaces, pet care, security and protection, sports and healthcare, entertainment and education, convenient mobility, and more.
三季度我们在全球客户合作及拓展推进，衡量老客户的增长的指标 DBNER 为 124%， 保持在健康且稳健的水平。欧洲作为涂鸦最主要的市场的需求稳定，新老客户合作进展顺利。在全球其他区域，我们新获得的一些区域的头部的客户合作包括加拿大头部渠道自有品牌，涵盖节日照明、宠物等氛围类的一些品类，也有拉美、巴西等新市场的一些头部家电企业，智利知名消费级安全产品品牌等。借助涂鸦平台进行积极的一些布局。此外，我们继续看到较为成熟的一些市场区域，涂鸦平台始终是企业业务提效从原有模式和平台切换到选择第三方的一些最优先的一个选项。我们相信以上的客户层面的进展和感知，例证了涂鸦平台的价值和产品能力，也是我们所处的良好的竞争格局的体现。
Our global customer collaborations and expansion efforts progressed steadily in the third quarter. Our dollar-based net expansion rate, which measures growth among existing customers, stood at 124%, a healthy and a stable level. Our largest market, Europe, exhibited stable demand with smooth progress in partnerships with both new and existing clients. In other regions, we secured several key regional customers, including a leading private label brand in Canada, covering categories such as seasonal lighting and pet products. A top home appliance group in emerging markets like Brazil, and the well-known consumer safety brands in Chile. All of these are leveraging the Tuya platform for their strategic initiatives. Furthermore, in more mature markets, the Tuya platform remains the preferred choice for enterprises aiming to enhance operational efficiency or transitioning from traditional systems to third-party platforms. We believe these customer-level developments amplify the value and capability of the Tuya platform and reflect the favorable competitive landscape in which we operate.
我们同样注重开发者社群的建设，致力于让每一位有志于智能化领域的开发者获得最新的前沿的资讯。在三季度，我们举办了2场重量级的开发者大会，其一是在 IFA 活动期间，我们在德国柏林会展中心举办了首届涂鸦开发者大会的欧洲站，主题为 Smart by Nature, Exploring the Signature of AI and Stability。我们邀请了亚马逊云科技、欧洲综合技能家具方案知名电商平台 Think 等合作伙伴一同分享和探讨了生成式 AI 的创新应用和可持续发展的一些落地的实践，备受开发者的关注。Vesto 是土耳其 最大的家电制造商之一，这次也在我们开发者大会上分享了成功的经验。
We are also committed to building our developer community by striving to ensure that every developer interested in smart technology has access to the latest cutting-edge information. In the third quarter, we hosted 2 major developer conferences. The first was the inaugural European edition of the Tuya Global Developer Conference, held at the Berlin Exhibition Center during the IFA event, themed Smart by Nature, exploring the synergy of AI and sustainability. Partners such as AWS and Think, which is a well-known European e-commerce platform for comprehensive smart home solutions, discussed innovative application of generative AI and the practical implementation of sustainabilities. These discussions garnered significant attention from developers. Vestel, as one of Turkey's largest home appliance manufacturers, also shared success case studies.
在随后的9月末的全球开发者大会苏州场上，西门子还有自家等业内全球领先的企业亦分享了通过Tuya云开发平台搭建智能生态，为用户带来绿色、数字化、智能化的家庭生活体验的未来生活图景。截止到3季度末，Tuya平台注册开发者数量进一步增加，达到约126万。未来Tuya将进一步洞察市场需求，持续赋能开发者，带来更多满足消费者期待的一些智能产品。
At the end of September, during our global develop conference in Suzhou, industrial leaders such as Siemens and Haier Smart Home shared their visions of the future. They showcased how to leverage Tuya Cloud Develop platform to build intelligent ecosystems, bringing green, digital, and smart home living experience to users. By the end of the third quarter, the number of registered developers on the Tuya platform further increased, reaching approximately 1.26 million. Moving forward, we will continue to gain insights into market demands, consistently empower developers, and deliver more smart products that meet consumer expectations.
在产业及特殊渠道市场，主要通过打造标杆的项目并复刻拓展模具取得了一些进展。例如，我们今年规划在针对运营商业务的模式，即以 Cube 智慧私有云方案为抓手的切入合作，加之核心品类以智能设备出货的模式均符合预期，并开始进入持续的落地。我们在运营商客群的部署持续稳步推进，新增的是泰国、越南2大头部客户的一些签约，并在已部署已交付的老客户中获得稳定的智能设备的出货的返单。此外，我们的 HEMS 业务取得了实质性的落地进展，标杆项目新加坡住建局 HDB 项目的成功中标，接下来几个季度将正式进入产品落地和交付的阶段。
In the industrial and specialized channel markets, we continue to make progress as planned by developing and replicating benchmark projects. For example, our business model for telecom operators this year involves leveraging our Cube Intelligent Private Cloud solution to initiate collaborations combined with the delivery of core smart device categories. This approach is aligning with our expectations and has begun to see continuous implementations. The development among our telecom operator customers base is advancing steadily. We have signed new agreements with two leading operators in Thailand and Vietnam and are receiving consistent reorders from smart devices from existing customers who have already deployed our solutions. Additionally, our home energy management system business has achieved substantial progress. We successfully secured a benchmark project with the Singapore Housing and Development Board, and over the next few quarters, we will officially enter the product implementation and delivery phase for this project.
总体而言，在2024年第3季度，Tuya踏实向前，继续贯彻既定的发展策略，取得了财务成果上持续的验证。我们坚定的也为我们的股东带来股东层面上的回馈。现在大家也看到昨天的新闻，周末淡马锡旗下的独立运营的全资投资平台65 EP 与Tuya2014年成立以来的主要股东 NEA 签署了协议，购买了约 13% 的Tuya的总股份。这项投资体现了他们对Tuya愿景的高度的认可，并与Tuya的国际扩张战略高度吻合。亚太地区，尤其是东南亚，是一个增长迅速的新兴的市场，对我们来说蕴藏了巨大的机会。我们也将继续致力于抓住国际市场的增长的机遇， 推动全球 AIoT 智能设备及商用和行业应用的发展，并努力为所有长期支持Tuya的股东带来回报。我们非常的高兴地欢迎戴马锡旗下的65EP成为Tuya智能的重要的股东。
Overall, third quarter 2024 was the period of steady progress for Tuya as we executed our established growth strategies to deliver robust financial results. This commitment has also brought us shareholder-level recognition. You may have seen yesterday's announcement. Over the weekend, 65 equity partners at an independently managed wholly owned investment platform of Demographic entered into an agreement with New Enterprise Associates, one of Tuya's key shareholders since our founding in 2014, to purchase approximately 13% of Tuya's total issued shares. This investment reflects their strong confidence in Tuya's vision and aligns closely with our international expansion strategy. The Asia-Pacific region, particularly Southeast Asia, is a rapidly growing emerging market, presenting enormous opportunities for us. We remain committed to seizing growth opportunities in international markets, advancing global AIoT, smart devices, and commercial and industrial applications, and delivering value to all our long-term shareholders. We're thrilled to welcome 65 equity partners, the investment platform of Demographic, as a significant shareholder of Tuya.
最后，我们欢迎公司现任的财务 AP 克拉尔·张燕女士加入董事会，成为我们的执行董事。相信克拉尔在过往4大会计师事务所安永与企业财务管理的丰富的经验，将为董事会带来更多的专业领域的支持，也符合Tuya董事会致力于践行的多元化的目标。
Lastly, we welcome our current Vice President of Financial, Claire Yan Zhang, to the Board of Directors as an Executive Director. With her extensive experience in financial management and a Big Four accounting firm, Ernst & Young, Claire will bring valuable expertise to the board, aligning with Tuya's commitment to diversity.
接下来一些其他有关财务方面的数据，由 Alex 向大家介绍。
Now I will hand over to Alex to provide further financial details.
Thank you, Jerry. And hello everyone, this is Alex. Now I will discuss our financial results and provide more details on the numbers not covered by Jerry. Please note that all the figures are in US dollars and all the comparisons are year over year unless the state otherwise. In the third quarter of this year, our total revenue reached $81.6 million, up to 33.6% year over year. Most importantly, our P&L continued the trends established in Q2. Each business segment maintained a solid gross margin, reflecting the value of our products. This led to attractive gross profit growth alongside revenue growth. At the same time, we executed our business operations and product strategies with a streamlined and limited operation costs and expenses. As a result, we achieved a solid non-GAAP operation margin, expanding from the break-even level of Q2. And our IoT PaaS revenue in the third quarter was $57.9 million, representing a year-over-year growth of 26.4%. Looking at the product categories, our focus on home appliances enabled impressive year-over-year growth of around 40%, while other categories remain stable. Geographically, our global revenue structures was well balanced. However, driven by increased energy-saving orders, Europe's revenue contributions saw a slight uptick this quarter. On the customer side, the scale of customers we served increased slightly compared to the same period last year, aligning with our focus strategy on customer expansion and service. As the end of the Q3 2024, our dollar-based net expansion rate stood at a healthy 124%. We believe this demonstrates strong demand from our existing customer base for Tuya's products, providing a solid foundation for revenue growth and allowing us to confidently pursue new customers. Q3 gross margin was 46%, remaining at a stable and healthy level compared to the same period of 2023. Since overall gross margin reflects the structural mix of margins across our business segments. It is influenced by the revenue composition of each segment. Looking at the components, the gross margin for all three of our revenue segments remained constant with the previous level. The slight increase in PaaS gross margin and slight decline in Smart Solution gross margin were predominantly due to the product mix changes. We'll consider that as a regular one. So regarding operation activity and expenses, I will provide a detailed view on a non-GAAP basis, which excludes certain non-business related items to give a clear picture of our operation efficiency. We continue to present our operating expenses primarily on non-GAAP basis. Before discussing non-GAAP operation expenses, I'd like to mention that in early September, following our Q2 operational profitability milestone, we adjusted the exercise prices of our options held by all the employees to the current value of our shares. We did this to thank our colleagues for their unwavering support as we navigated through cycles and reached new milestones. This one-time adjustment resulted in approximately $10 million in additionally one-time equity incentive expenses, of which $9.5 million was recognized in this quarter's operation expenses, with the remainder to be amortized over the coming quarters. Turning to operation expenses, in Q3, our non-GAAP total operating expenses decreased by 5.9% to $30.1 million from $32 million a year ago. Following the near compulsion of team structure adjustments in the second half of 2023, our non-GAAP expenses has since stabilized year over year. Sequentially, our operation expenses in this Q3 increased by approximately $2.3 million compared to Q2, primarily due to typical fluctuation in items on the expenses side and the income side, such as tax refunds. As revenue growth year over year, we'll adjust the budget according to as needed. Other non-personnel operation expenses, such as marketing and travel, has remained as relatively balanced level. Overall, we remain committed to the efficient and focused business expansion to maximize and stabilize Tuya's profitability at this stage. This quarter, we achieved a non-GAAP operation margin of 9.1% and non-GAAP net margin of 24.7%. Net margin exceeded operation margin due to the contribution of the interest income, which is substantial due to our large net cash balance. While fluctuations in operation expenses may cause slight profit margin variations, we are pleased with our current profit level and optimistic about the future improving operating leverage in the future. In terms of cash, Q3's operating cash flow was net inflow of $23.9 million, reflecting our strong cash leverage. Our net cash balance increased to $1,023.9 million, further strengthening Tuya's financial reserves and preparing us for future shareholder returns. This concludes my presentation on the company's financial performance. So with that, Operator Emma, we're now ready to take questions. Thank you.
Thank you. We will now begin the question and answer session. As a reminder, to ask a question, please press *11 on your telephone and wait for your name to be announced. To withdraw your question, please press *11 again. Additionally, when asking a question, please state your questions in Chinese first, then immediately translate them into English for the convenience of everyone on the call. Once again, it is *11 for questions. Please stand by while we compile the Q&A roster. We will now take our first question from the line of Tom Tang from Morgan Stanley. Please ask your question, Tom.
好，感谢管理层给我这个提问的机会。首先就是非常非常恭喜这个3Q 的业绩就是非常的出色。我可能有2个问题。第一个问题是关于我们4Q 的展望，希望可以多给一些color， 特别是现在特朗普上台后有未来可能会预期增加关税的情况下，不知道我们有没有看见客户的一些不同的一些行为。然后第二个是对我们这个毛利率的一个展望，因为现在我们就 Smart Solution 的占比也比较高了，不知道之后几个 quarter 看我们的毛利率会是维持在一个比较稳定的状态，还是会有一些进一步的改变。然后我可能用英文也问一下。So thanks management for the questions and congratulations on a very strong result for the quarter. So I have 2 questions. First one is on the outlook for the fourth quarter. So if we can share some more color on it, and if we have seen any changes in the customer behaviors after potential tariff increases from the US. And the second question is on the GPM. So our smart solution is a quite sizable amount in terms of our total revenue now. So do we expect the GPM to stay stable over the next few quarters, or if there's going to be some further changes due to the product mix changes? Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for that. And so for the question 1, firstly, that we mentioned that for Q3 for us will be a steady season, a steady growing season, which proved that our strategy on the business side and also the efficiency of our operations. So we continue to do that. And for Q4, right now we see that's positive season, but it's only like the 40 days, and since 40 days passed for Q4, and also we have a long vacation in China, so that influenced majority of the manufacturers. So I will not have the clear visibility about entire Q4. But when we see that Q4, it will be it's also a stable and steady and regular season for us. We continue chasing on that. So we are optimistic about what we can have in Q4, even without precise visibility. And speaking of the tariff issues for United States, what we see here is that it's not the first time about the tariff. So that thing's already been going on for a couple of years. And so maybe 2 things. The first one is that what we see that in the past a few years, so even the geopolitical situation, what we see here is that the customers already starting to relocate the supply chain. So we're already supplying that, which means that we're not impacted directly, but the customers always need to source in and buy in the products from wherever they need it in the world. We are just fulfilling that. That'll be one thing. And the second thing, what I see that even that with relocation of the supply chains, still the world needs China so much. So no matter what, any significant amount of the Chinese components still shipping to the global supply chain. So that will be something. We just follow the flow. We just keep serving our customers, and either locally or remotely to their suppliers in whichever countries they located. So I think that will be one thing. So demand is still steady because end users continue to use that. So they'll purchase wherever they can to find the best cost point to locate their own supply chain. And I think that's for question 1. And for question 2, yes, you see that our 3 business segments, they're actually in 2 different verticals. And so we have to follow different business common senses in this industry. So for the smart solutions, it will be so deeply bounded with the hardware, and so which means that I can never compare with the gross margin versus the software. It's totally different model. And but we think that the smart solution is so valuable because we help the customer to provide differentiation and provide very competitive new cutting edge and products and experience to the market to continue to enable them become the leader. So we'll enlarge the portion of the smart solution for sure, and we really see the potential. So through that, the overall gross margin of the company will decrease gradually, but we consider that a very healthy way because each of the segment is competitive. So we are more concerned about the segments, not the overall gross margin. And in the same time that the growth of each of the segments doesn't require a significant increase on our expenses and costs, so which means that we still maintain a very good leverage to grow our overall business. So even though the gross margin rate is decline a little bit in the long run, but in the same time, the total amount of the gross margins will be able to provide enough beneficial and profitability for the company. That's it.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Timothy Zhao from Goldman Sachs. Please ask your question, Timothy.
好的，感谢万强接受我的提问，也恭喜一个非常强劲的季度的业绩。那我这边有2条问题想要请教一下。那第一个是关于我们的 IoT 的 PaaS 业务，那我不知道可不可以请关业成分享一下我们对于整个25年吧，那这个下游需求的一些展望，包括是各品类的这个需求，我们应该怎么去考虑？那第二个，我们也看到这个很谢谢看到我们有一个新股东的加入，那基于我们其实现在的利润率也相对的稳定，那公司的现金流其实现金流储备其实也是不错的。大家请教一下我们在今后的股东回报这边有哪些考虑？那我快翻译一下。Thank you, management, for taking my question. I have 2 questions here. The first one is regarding the IoT PaaS business. Just wondering if you can give us any color on your outlook on the downstream demand for the IoT PaaS business and any demand difference across different vertical or segments. And secondly, I'm pretty glad to see that we have the anchor investors coming in this quarter, and given that your margin is already quite stable and the company also has a pretty ample cash resources. Just wondering if you can share some idea about the future shareholder return policies. That would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. So for the IoT PaaS, for us, momentum, what we see here is that this year will be a rebounding year because the majority of the consumer electronic players or companies in the world starting to working out from the cycle of the inventory issues, starting from 2021, 2022. So it's a rebounding year. And what we see the momentum among our customers is that they're really starting to reinvest and re-kick off the multiple projects, among every customers for the IoT fields. So ready for future competitions and expansion. That'd be one thing. So while you have more investment and the resources coming in these verticals, pretty sure that they'll continue to grow for the customer side. And for Tuya side, we continue to provide 2 drivers for the business. So first one is the product. And on the PaaS side, so we continue to expand to any type of the new use cases and scenarios across our categories. But most importantly, that we're starting to deploy and we're starting to provide some of the AI-based services for the customers to help them to build some AI-empowered devices or AI-empowered use cases for the end users. So that can be kind of the killer app or key differentiations and new feature sets that you can see in the market. So that'll be one thing. So we use the product to be the driver with the new innovation, new technology. And the second driver for Tuya is the customer expansion, especially on the enterprise level. So for that part, as you can see that we're starting to incubating our SaaS business around 3 years. So that type of the solution is more focused on the enterprise level. So other than the consumer companies, consumer-related companies, so the enterprise type of company or industrial solution providers are different type of the players in the market. So through that, we continue to have more and more customers in that field, including the telecom carriers, including the projects we just shared along with the Singapore HDB for the government public apartments, around 1.3 apartments in Singapore, so etc. That kind of industrial players and enterprise level of the players will become a new growing forces and drivers for Tuya as well. So we continue to expand more and to come in deeper. So that will be the past growth. So we maintain the optimism on this field because we have a very steady customer base. As you can see, our DBNER and premium customer amounts. In the same time, that we continue to cover wider with new fields on the enterprise solution level. So that'll be one thing. Question one. And on question two, so yeah, for sure that for the past 10 years since the beginning of Tuya, we always take the shareholders' return as a high priority when we operate in the company. And in this Q2 will be the first time we issue the dividend. It's a special dividend for the shareholders. Like I mentioned in last quarter, it's not a regular one because we don't hit the annual profitability yet. But we don't want the shareholder to wait another 2 quarters, so we issue the special dividend, even it's a special one. So we will consider the dividend as a regular basis. So every year that more based on the non-GAAP profitabilities, we use that as a benchmark to evaluate and how much and we can return to the shareholders as a dividend. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of Kai Xiao from CICC. Please ask your question, Kai.
好，谢谢管理层，我是中金公司的研究员肖凯，我这边也请教2个问题啊。第一个是关于 SaaS 业务，我看到 SaaS 业务我们 3Q 增长的提速非常的明显啊，想请管理层帮我们拆分一下这个增长的驱动因素，然后未来的可持续性如何，具体这块业务在未来的增速我们该如何展望啊？这是第一个问题。然后第2个问题，我想问一下 AI， 因为 GenAI 也一直是Tuya的重点战略啊，想请教这个 3Q 我们有在 AI 方面哪些新的进展啊？是否可以分享？然后如果有一些收入指引啊，关于 AI 的，那是最好的啊，谢谢管理层。那我也翻译一下。So this is Ben from the research, and I have 2 questions. And the first question is about the SaaS sector, whose revenue growth accelerated in Q3. So could you give us some color on the growth drivers and future outlook for the SaaS sector? And another question is regarding the artificial intelligence. Could you give us some updates on the GenAI monetization and future plan? And if there are some revenue contribution guidance, that will be great. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. So for the SaaS, the key part is that we continue to identify the potential verticals that AIoT can provide values to killing the pain point with a reasonable cost level. So I think that would be the key part. So we consider that as a PSF stage, so which means that so we keep evaluating the market and to identify and figure out the right solution that fits it. So for the SaaS side, right now we already see several very potential and scalable market direction there, including the hospitality. As I mentioned, that like the recent project that we signed contract with HDB in Singapore, it's a hospitality solution we provided and combined with the energy management. And energy will be another one, so another sectors. And outdoor will be another one, including logistics. So that will be the verticals we find a potential to. And so we already have some standardized solution proven and worked with the strategic customers as a pilot program. So for that part, I think the space and the ceilings will come that whether we're looking for to duplicate the use cases with a similar type of the strategic customers in new fields. So that'd be one thing. That will be the key drivers for SaaS. And speaking of the AI, what we see is that right now working on providing two type of services through AI. So one is that we will integrate the AI capability along with the hardware. So essentially it become not a smart device, it become AI devices. So one of the typical use cases is the bird feeder. So it's a bird house, and come along with a camera and come along with a food container. So you put it in the backyard on the tree, and then whenever one bird come in, and then you get a picture or you get a selfie of the bird, and come along combine that with AI algorithms that we cooperate with AWS called recognition. It's a algorithm provided by AWS, while we integrate that into application, and then so the feeder not only take photos about the bird, but also telling you what species, what's the behavior of this bird, and then you will be able to easily either to educate your children, right? Okay, let's try to learn the birds, or you can show off any rare species come into your house rather than your neighbors. So that'll be one thing. So become a nature native AI device. Another direction is that, and we're trying to provide some AI services on top of the device as a software-based level. So one thing is that when we combine GenAI with the pet devices, so like the pet feeder in home, so the feeders can visual your behaviors, the behaviors of your pet, maybe your cat or your dog, and then automatically generate different type of video footage and come along with a line, come along with the background music, and then you will understand, okay, my cat and dog in home right now, they're playing Game of Thrones, maybe Game of Paw. So that type of interesting footage is totally generated by AI. So we're starting trying to provide that type of services on the software levels. And so with the existing, what we call version 1 smart devices, we'll be able to have some AI-based experience. So that'll be the two directions we're trying to pitch. And right now it's still in the pilot stage. So we still run some POC, still run some pilot customers, but not provide to everywhere. And also we consider very carefully about how we can business monetize that, coming on naturally with the business model. So by end of this year or at the beginning of by end of this year and or beginning of the 2025, and we'll be able to show more use cases how we can turn the AI into application. And we believe that that'll become one of the catalysts for Tuya and for overall IoT. And one of the key things, uniqueness for Tuya is that right now, one of the largest challenge for AI is that what type of applications, what type of features, it's commercial, or it have the space to commercialize, because it's more like right now it's more like the trial tools, better to have, not must be. But tangible for Tuya is that we have the device, we help the customer to build the device. So naturally, the device itself, when it's sold, you know that the end users buying that for the feature, and especially when the AI device come with a total different pricing point than the regular smart device, you know that people buying that for the AI. So since the beginning, we commercialize that. So I think that will be the special one. So we'll try different type of the use cases and demonstrations, and then we can easily testify that among my customers that what type of things I can commercialize and bring that into scale. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question comes from the line of John Roy from Water Tower Research. Please go ahead, John.
Thank you for taking my question, and congratulations on a very strong quarter. If we could take a step back for a second, obviously the revenue growth has been solid for the last couple quarters, and a lot of talk about enterprise. I was kind of wondering, how long do you think this can continue? In other words, how much runway do you kind of see given the current markets do you have?
I think that, so talking about that, I would like to pull back a little bit about the visions where we started this company. And we believe that no matter it's IoT or AI, in the future, long run, maybe after 10 years, it will become a fundamental technology. Like the internet right now, everything is the internet connected. When we're reviewing that, the penetration of IoT or with AI, it's extremely low. So right now, it will be low single-digit numbers. So if we have to ask me about whether and how the business is going to moving forward to, I'll say that in the next 10 years, maybe after 10 years, after 20 years, everything defaultly needs to be connected, needs to be smart. And we can imagine that. So what we're doing is that we continue to enable those first movers in their vertical fields to turn them into IoT ready or into AIoT ready. I think that will be the key driver for us. So that's why all the investment we're doing is that how we can find the right use cases that make sense for their vertical, and we provide standardized, easy-to-use toolkit for the developers and scale that. So I think that will be the key part.
Right. And as a follow-on to that, the investment you're making, do you feel like they're at a good level right now, or do you feel like there's going to be a possible need to accelerate R&D in the coming years?
Yeah. So in the past 2 years, because we were facing a cycle back then, so we already adjust our strategies into a more aggressively invested and expansion strategy into a more reasonable and what we call micromanagement. And so for this one, what we're seeing is that we already stabilized our expenses and investment. So even inside the company, we continue to invest in some new use cases, but it's still in a very reasonable level. And so we're looking forward to stabilize our profitability and our expense rate.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you. As a reminder, to ask a question, please press star 11 on your telephone. There are no additional questions at this time. I'll now hand back to the management team for any closing remarks.
Okay, thank you again for joining our call today. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact us or request through our website. We look forward to speaking with everyone in our next earnings call, so have a good day today. Thank you.
Thank you for your participation in today's conference. This does conclude the program. You may now disconnect.